Welcome in, everybody. It is Waggin Tails Wednesday, but we got all sorts of stuff. We're going to be wagging our tails at the racetrack. The Nashville SuperSpeedway has an incredible event, and we're going to start our show with a guest named Patrick Topolinsky and Engine Power. Did I say that right?
You did. Topolinsky. That's great.
Topolinsky. I was working on it. I was practicing it because it just didn't flow off the tongue. But I practiced.
Well, no, you got it. You nailed it. So
fantastic. Well, tell us about what's coming to the Nashville SuperSpeedway this weekend.
Well, this is our inaugural event. It's called the Power Nationals. We're doing an event that gives back to local community. And if you are an enthusiast, if you're a gearhead, if you just like pretty cars and you like a lot of action. Also, if you like monster trucks, this is going to be the place to be this Labor Day weekend. So it's going to be a very family-friendly event. It is Saturday and Sunday, and it's going to be a good time. We got a lot going on.
I always love if you see kids, I mean, girls and boys, it's not just little boys, but little girls are just as excited to see this too. But they all have this ear protection. Yeah. And that's something that's really important. If you're going to take your grandkids, know that it will be loud and proud. So you might want to make sure that you have that. Do you know that they usually have that for sale at the Speedway?
I believe they will. There'll be, I think, places to get ear protection if you require some. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's right.
But if you want to bring some, you're more than welcome to.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Well, tell us a little bit about when this starts. And if you can get a ticket for both days, tell us a little bit about the Power Nationals.
Sure. This event is Saturday, September 3rd and Sunday, September 4th. It's $25 per day, or you can get a 2-day pass for $40. And if you yeah, absolutely. Which is it's a great value. Yeah. Because I don't know if you might not be able to see everything in one day. So why not make a weekend out of it? And because this is a long weekend, this is a great opportunity to come. So this event, kids 12 and under are free. So that's one of the things that is appealing. Also, there's a lot going on at this event for a little bit for everyone. One of the main things that's going on is monster trucks, right? I don't know who doesn't like monster trucks. Even if you're just a casual watcher of any sort of motorsports, you see a big truck with big wheels running around doing stunts and crushing cars. I mean, that almost is universally appealing. So
it is, and you know what? I think it gets out all of the angst that we kind of carry around every day. Yeah. And when you see something like that, and they smash up those trucks, it really does kind of lift your spirits. It
is. It's very externally releasing of all of your stress and anger and anxiety and all that. So it's a great time. So that's going to be there. The Hot Wheels monster truck series. There's going to be like popular names like Bone Shaker is going to be there, Demo Derby, Mega Rex, and Tiger Shark, which are all popular trucks that do all the kind of crazy stuff.
I can't believe I actually know those names.
Isn't that great?
I do. It's crazy. I mean, it's like if Drifted In, if they're famous enough that I know who they are.
Yeah,
so that's pretty cool.
And perhaps the most famous monster truck at all. Actually, it's the monster truck that started the entire industry of monster trucks. Bigfoot. Bigfoot is going to be there. Now, there's going to be several trucks here. Bigfoot 1 will be there, which is the original. This is the one that started the entire the entire monster truck industry as we know it, this is the truck that did it. There's also going to be the that Bigfoot 5, which has 10-foot tall tires on it. And if you've never seen a truck with 10-foot tall tires on, it's just seeing pictures of it doesn't do it justice. You have to be there. You have to walk up to it. You have to look at it because it's going to be there. And there's also going to be one of the competition trucks there that does all kinds of stunts and crushes cars as well. So it's going to be a good time.
How do people get their tickets?
People can get their tickets. You go to powernationals.com and all the information is there to get tickets. And the ticket, it's a lot of value for the money. If you're just going one day, that's great. Two, for $40, a little bit better deal. There's also an auto show there where if you want to come see car show, you can enter your car for $60. You can enter your car for the whole weekend, but there's also a car show both days. There's going to be autocross on Saturday, and there's going to be a drift competition. If you don't know what drifting is, cars that are drifting, you might want to get on the internet machine and look that one up, because drifting is a very exciting, high energy, where two cars are sliding around, smoking the tires, revving up, and kind of and almost in an automotive ballet around a track, and it's very, very exciting to watch. And so that's going on Sunday. Also, there's going to be an oval cruise where at the car show at the end of each day, you will actually be able to take your car, if you're in the car show, and drive around the NASCAR oval. So,
oh my gosh, that's incredible.
It's pretty neat.
Anybody who knows anything about Lebanon, Tennessee knows that car shows are the deal. It's where everybody ends up every weekend, and every Sunday they parade around the square. They end up at Snow White Diner. So y'all guys just buy a ticket and go and be at the car show at the Nashville SuperSpeedway. It's this weekend. It's a great way for you to celebrate that nice 3-day weekend. I always think it's really kind of cool. There are a lot of people who are fans of Dukes of Hazzard, and the General Lee is going to be at Cooter's Place, and Tom Wopat's going to be signing that early morning on Saturday morning. So you can just go get your tickets and go see that. That's free. Go get your picture by the General Lee, then go out and take your picture by Bigfoot. And that'll like cover your whole weekend.
Wow, I couldn't think of almost a better way of spending your weekend of either one of those two. Even if there was just one, it would be great. But you can do it all there. So.
You can do it all, and I'm going to tell everybody if you get a chance, the kids get in free. So just spring for the 2-day event. Take those kids for 2 days, and that's your whole weekend for Labor Day weekend, and it's all taken care of. Thank you so much, Patrick. Give us that website one more time.
It is powernationals.com. And check it out and come on down. We'd love to have you.
Powernationals.com. And at the end of the show, I'll make sure that we put that website up again for everybody. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye-bye. Now, if you don't know, another save the date is the 53rd Nashville Film Festival. Lots of great movies, including the documentary done about Tanya Tucker and the year of her getting her Grammy. If there's something going on here, we try to keep you posted. And a lot of people see it smoking at the park. Smoking at the park. Well, what does that mean? Well, there are controlled burns happening all over Middle Tennessee. And there really is a reason for that. And you think, what are they doing? They're getting rid of it. Did you know that the Everglades has been burning over 30 years? There's places, and it creates all sorts of wonderful benefits. Let's talk a little bit about what our parks in Tennessee are doing as control burns to make everything a little bit better and a lot more healthy.
Yeah, you can start right there and come down this backside.
Fire has been used a long time in history. A lot of the old farmers used it basically because it was cheap. It gets rid of old vegetation, suppresses woody vegetation, and the plants are more nutritious when they come back up.
See, right there is that little oak. See the one with the leaves still on it? That's a little white oak. You know, and that very well could have survived, and I will do everything I can when I come back in here to dodge that little dude.
When you look at a burn on a field, it not necessarily has to, you know, incinerate everything. We're looking for a mosaic across the land. It's okay if fire skips some places and maybe burns up others.
You know, if I've got the scattered oaks in here,
Yeah.
Intermingled with the open areas, man, that's excellent, you know.
Yeah.
Because that way we've got a mass crop and we've got a bushy, weedy area. Man, that's just excellent.
We had a really good burn, and as far as fire, timing and safety are real concerns. We don't want to burn during the nesting season, so typically our burn dates are in the late winter, early spring. What we burned here was in around the 1st of March, and basically we put a fire line around these fields using a tractor and a disc, and it contains the fire. We get fire permits and check the weather conditions, and if the wind's right, we light it up.
Today is the 3rd day of March. Fire, if it's done at the right time, will give you a good kill. It will set back succession basically to the ground. Anytime you burn, you may think you're burning all the vegetation. You're burning all the above ground vegetation, but there's a seed bank in every soil of it. A lot of people think, well, that's going to be empty ground forever. That couldn't be further from the truth. Here in the next, I say 30 to 45 days, we're going to have green up. And in that area, there are going to be seeds that are going to jump out of that. The area we're burning now, depending on how good a burn we get, I may not burn it again for another 3 years. So, and that's the whole idea. You don't want to burn all your habitat, but spot it. That way you've got different levels of succession all at the same time.
What we're looking at here is a lot of bodock trees. Those are really thorny individuals, bad for a tractor tire. But by providing a slow creeping fire through here, it killed practically every one of them. Providing this fire line, creating a fire that slowly creeps through there, typically in early spring, outside of nesting season. But as that sap comes up through these smaller saplings, that's the best time to kill them.
More species will use a more weedy field than a high canopy, high forested area. Those are, gosh, they're beautiful places. But you know, there's more species that can be found in a weedy, overgrown field than in that high canopy.
You look at a field, it serves as many purposes for birds, brood habitat for baby turkeys, and habitat for deer. Right now in June, the does are coming off with their fawns, and this is exactly where they're going to be.
Man.
There's some plants out here that are more nutritious than I would say soybeans, especially plants like corn. So some of this early successional growth could get as high as 30% crude protein.
This is 1 year's growth of a Chickasaw plum. Look at this. You might well say, well, why are you letting that grow and not letting the privet grow? Well, this is a native species. 2, this produces a large fruit that multiple animals will partake of. Deer, turkey, possums, groundhogs, everything will come and eat the fruit off of these. But it'll produce basically a plum that's about the size of the end of your thumb.
So in this fire line here, you'll get ragweed. It's got the genus name Ambrosia, which means food of the gods. So when somebody named that plant, they must have got it right. But this in the fall, this plant will provide many seeds for the quail, and this will be just dominating this fire break.
Yes, if we look, we got these clumps of grass, but then if we get down in here below it, we got areas of dirt. And that's what the advantage of these clump forming species do. The small quail and the small turkey, especially when they're still in their down, before they get their feathers, they're having to scurry along the ground. But in these areas where you have these clump forming species, the native warm season grass, you'll have a clump of grass and then an open area for those little guys to get in here and scurry around. I mean, they're not walking up here, they're walking right down here on the ground, and they can get around in these little funnels. They're still protected from above from avian predators.
Right here, it's a type of bean. You know, that's not a soybean. That's their native bean, and quail really love that.
It is charred, but it's good leaf out. So this persimmon, this small persimmon clump, these are probably all the same, from the same clump. So you know, these have male and female males. We don't know which one of these is going to be, but these do have a good, relatively good wildlife value. The deer, the possums, birds, all will eat the fruit from this tree.
The plant community really responds with a burn. You can't really get that with a mow. Diversity is what you're trying to shoot for. One monoculture fescue across the landscape is not good for wildlife. All the animals have a choice here, so we're giving them 1 year, 3 years, and maybe 5 years. So we're playing to the rabbits, the quail, and the deer, plus the turkeys.
If I can have an impact to another covey of quail makes it through the winter, or another rabbit gets to make it through, or a duck has food to eat, or a squirrel has a tree to climb and nuts to eat, and turkey have another tree to roost in, I've said it once, that'll make me a happy man.
The greatest joy is spending all this time and going up to the parking lot and seeing a guy dragging out a deer, and you're knowing that you influence that, and that guy's day is, you know, filled with joy, and throughout the whole year you're here working to make that happen. So I really enjoy that.
Can I just say a big thank you to all our agents at TWRA? There's so much that goes into it to provide year-round for and the conservation efforts that they do to take care of our greenways and make sure that our animals have food to eat, and that the hunts are set aside. Did you notice that they talked about that control burn, that they made sure it wasn't during the hatching season and it wasn't for any of the animals that were there? I just think that's amazing that someone chooses to do something so cool for a living. I tell you who else who chose something cool for a living, and that is Josh, and he joins us from Brooks Healing. And Brooks Healing Center down in Normandy, Tennessee. You do something really cool. Today is a special day across the world, International Overdose Awareness Day. And I think it's really poignant that you're here today, Josh.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a big day. We've obviously lost quite a few people to the disease of addiction and to overdose specifically. So we always want to take time to remember them, and then you know, annually when this occurs, it just kind of gives those of us in this field another boost, because it can be a very tiring field to be in, but it gives us another boost that, hey, we're doing what we need to do, and we need to keep trucking.
Amen and hallelujah. And what you're doing out in Normandy, Tennessee, I couldn't help see the correlation between those beautiful Tennessee wildlife areas and what you're doing in Normandy, because you've got these beautiful pastures that are just open and wildflowers that are growing and things. There's a great connection between nature and recovery and the healing. And did that have anything to do with why you guys chose Normandy and this beautiful property?
Absolutely. You know, the cool part, you know, when you pull down the drive and just turn over that bridge, and then you come into the property, you can realize as soon as you cross over the bridge, it's just kind of like a sigh of relief. Like, you look around and everything's peaceful, laid out. You see hills, you see trees, you see pastures, you see some older buildings that are deceiving by the time you get inside and realize what's in store. But we definitely chose that with a purpose.
Well, you are doing some great things with purpose there. And what I love about it is that the people there at Brooks Healing Center They've been there. You've walked the walk and you've shared your story. But I want to ask you there, just because someone overdoses doesn't mean they always die. There are things that can bring you back. Have you ever overdosed?
I have. Actually, the first time that I did it was back in 2003 at Bonnaroo, believe it or not. And,
Wow.
it was before all the crazy stuff was going on with the fentanyl and everything. But, the simple fact of the matter is when the body has too many substances that go into too many parts of the system at one time, that's technically what an overdose is. And you're correct. It doesn't mean death. It means that things are starting to shut down. And that was back in the the mid stages of my active addiction, and it was very scary. And I wish I could say that it was scary enough to prevent me from continuing to use, but I just thought, whoa, that was a little too much. Better not do that again. And on down the road I went.
Let's talk about how dangerous it is now because, like you said, that was in the days before fentanyl.
Hmm.
Now, someone can use one time and that be it. Why is this drug so much more dangerous now than the drugs of even 2003?
Because the drug dealers don't have a chemical or mathematical way to control what the amount of fentanyl versus the amount of the cut, meaning what they put in with the fentanyl to make it have so much substance. And so all they know is that it's stronger and people want it more,
Hmm.
despite the risk. Because if you can, in my day, it was heroin, and heroin was relatively expensive. Fentanyl is less expensive than heroin was. And
Oh,
so
wow.
when you go down that route and realize there's something way stronger and it's less expensive, and you're already in a mindset that you don't really care about consequences too much, it makes for a perfect storm. Um, and that's despite tolerance, too. A lot of people believe that if you have a tolerance because you've been using for years or years and years, that you're less likely to overdose. And that's just not true either because the chemistry behind what they've got in the substances these days, it doesn't,
Mm.
tolerance is irrelevant.
We call this segment Miracles on Main Street. And the fact that someone reaches out for help is a miracle. That's miracle number one,
Hmm.
when someone makes that phone call. Number two is when they allow the miracle to happen when they're there in recovery, because it's not like you keep people under lock and key and you won't ever let them leave. It's not prison. This is not prison.
Correct.
This is a choice. So when you're with someone who's made that decision, how beautiful is it when you start seeing the change in the human? Because I always say that whatever hole you're trying to fill, the ism is not about the substance that you're taking, it's the hole inside. And that's what recovery is. Let's talk a minute about what you do for the person inside, the addict that is reaching out.
One of the most deceiving things that occurs is, and I might have even mentioned it on your show before, is I always say the physical comes back first, meaning that those black circles underneath the eyes, the weight starts to come back. I think on average, our male clientele, due to Miss Susan, our chef, and Dewey, our other chef, due to their cooking, they say and they're gaining about 20 pounds during their stay, which is awesome. I want them to, because
Yeah.
I was 137 pounds when I got clean, and
Oh
I'm
my
now
gosh.
210. And if you see me, I'm not heavy. And so we
No, but
deplete
you're a tall
ourselves.
guy too. I mean, I
Yeah,
cannot imagine you being 130 pounds. Oh my
it
gosh.
was ugly. It was very ugly. But we'd certainly deplete ourselves. And so one of those pieces is the willingness factor. So sometimes people get there because there's a drastic event that happens. Sometimes people just reach a bottom and they start reaching out and saying, I actually want to make this move and take that courageous step. And so when that occurs, I think a lot of the times people think, okay, I'm going to go detox. I'm going to get the substance out of my system. And then I'm going to kind of sit around in a nice, pretty atmosphere. And although the atmosphere is pretty, the work that has to be done is sometimes
Mhm.
intense, and it can sometimes adults can take certain rules or guidelines as childlike. But here's the thing: when we use for so long, there's certain things that we forget to do on a hygiene standpoint, on several other standpoints. So we have to institute the rules that we have. And you're right, nobody's under lock and key, but I think some of the best breakthroughs is when they recognize that what we've set out in place is for their benefit.
Oops. We lost you, Josh.
I'm here.
Okay, there you go.
I don't know what happened there, but I think
buffer.
one of the biggest benefits there, like I said, is watching that process and them just kind of surrender. So that's the most pretty part of the process, is when they say, you know what, I'm done fighting, I'm done bucking the rules, just tell me what to do and let's go at it, you know. And that's when some of the big breakthroughs.
Okay, now we've lost your sound. Not now. I can't hear you now. Every now and then, sometimes it just buffers a little bit. There we go. I think I hear you now.
Are you?
Yeah, there.
Now?
I can. Yeah.
Okay.
Say all that again.
Sorry about that. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I have no idea.
No worries. Hey, look, this is a miracle in itself.
Yeah. One of the coolest things is when they do surrender and they realize that we're actually there to help them, and they stop saying, you know, what about this rule? What about that rule? And they just say, hey, let's do this. And, you know, adults that very rarely get emotional, when you see them finally have an emotional breakthrough. And here's the thing: crying's healthy, male or female. It's a healthy thing. God invented tear ducts for a reason. And so when those kind of things occur, it's really nice to be a part of, because you usually see a pretty big personality change in that process too.
Well, this is a beautiful thing and a beautiful place. And the people that will guide you through this, I said, your recovery Sherpa, Josh, he'll take you through and take you up the mountain, because he's already climbed it, been up one side and down the other. And there's nothing that anybody needs to be ashamed of when they reach out and call. They can literally reach out and find hope every time. Tell people how they can get in touch with you.
Sure. 423-999-5026. You can always, my phone is 24/7 and has been for years. And then our website, which is www.brookshealingcenter.com. All the information is on there. And then there's an additional number on that website that if you call, it gets routed back to my phone number. And so either one of those ways. And it's got some real nice pictures if you want to get the idea of the land and the layout and some of the inside of the buildings. It's got great photos on there to check out and see what that would be about.
It's a wonderful place. And I checked it out myself, and I love it, and I give it 2 thumbs up.
Good deal.
All right. Thank you so much for your time today, Josh. I appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am. Y'all have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Healing from substance abuse can be a lonely journey, but you don't have to do it all on your own. At Brooks Healing Center, you matter. We're here to lend you love, support, and acceptance on your journey to find yourself again. With medical detox, residential, and partial hospitalization program levels of care, we help you overcome addiction, trauma, and adverse childhood experiences through personalized healing journeys. Our seasoned team of heart-centered staff is here for you with support, compassion, and hope. At Brooks Healing Center, we'll love you until you fall in love with everything you are.
I learned about the green interchange from, I know that's like groovy music. I was like getting into it. Greeninterchange.org, and Green Interchange is where you can get free trees. Miss Mary Hance, Miss Cheap. She is ours. We love her here at Main Street. You follow her columns in all of our newspapers, and she is the one that turned me on to Green Exchange and Green Interchange. It is a fantastic organization, and you can get you all sorts of cool trees. And it's getting tree planting season because you plant in the fall. You plant your grass in the fall so it can get a good winter on, and you plant all your shrubs and all that kind of good stuff in the fall so that in the springtime, boop, here they come. Hey, talk about poof. The Bacon Festival. It's a coming, baby. Do you love bacon? I mean, do you really love bacon? Who doesn't, right? The 3rd annual Murfreesboro Bacon Fest is coming up Saturday, September 10th. Admission and parking are free. The Bacon Festival will feature live music, food, and craft vendors. And did I say bacon? You can ride a mechanical hog ride. Visit the Kids Zone with free inflatables. There will also be hourly raffles with great prizes and an opportunity to purchase Bacon Festival merchandise. And did I say bacon? Yeah, there will even be a bacon eating contest. Visit the 3rd annual Murfreesboro Bacon Festival Facebook page for all the details. Yesterday, we had a nice visit on our show with Tom Wopat, just a good old boys. Dukes of Hazzard. He's going to be in town, Cooter's Place in Nashville. And I said, hey, didn't you get to do the theme song for County Line? Well, here he is telling about the story behind County Line, his TV show, and writing and performing the theme song.
Way up here in the hills of North Georgia, the hometown folk gonna treat you fine. Do 'em right, they got no ill will towards you, but stay away from the county line. The county line. So I spent the last couple of months working down in Charlotte on a couple of new movies. I made a movie called County Line for the Inspiration Network back about 5 years ago, and they asked me if I wanted to make a couple more, so I did. And then these past few weekends I've been on the road a little bit, playing around, and I just wanted to let you know that I did write that song for the second movie that should be out next year. Also, the reason I'm on the line today is that going to be at Cooter's Place in Pigeon Forge.
Hey y'all, welcome to Cooters in Music City. Yep, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. That store is probably our best museum. It's really something. It's got everything in there. Y'all, you know, the Dukes of Hazzard was America's great family show, and we try to make Cooter's Place a wonderful family experience.
So from our family to yours, we hope we see you real soon.
In fact, Saturday and Sunday starting at 11 a.m. You can get in line before then, but you can go and meet Tom and meet Cooter and meet the family and get your picture taken with the General Lee. Isn't that going to be fun? So you can line up early in the morning and stay all day. You can go, and it's all free. It's all free. Just go in and see the museum. Cooter's Place is over on Music Valley Drive, and if you don't know about it, you can find out all about it. And I tell you something else that you don't know. if you can see it, let me see if I can get it, where you see down there the little MSM TV. MSM TV. That is our new app. Y'all, you can download it for free and you can stream us. It's going to house all of our shows. You go down, and if you open the app, there's a little live stream. There I am. And then all these little tabs down here at the bottom, it's got this show. It's got our Mornings on Main Street. It's got Taste of Nashville. It's got our wonderful new show from Clarksville, This Week in Clarksville with Stephanie Miller. All of them are on the app and it's free. So I would encourage you to download that app, and it's part of what we do. Now, y'all join me every day here, and that's what I like because we interact. Let me do a little shout out to everybody. Okay, first of all, Leslie, I had to cook some bacon yesterday after you showed this. I know. I have had more bacon because of that commercial, and I see it. And I talked about the Bacon Fest. There's a friend of mine whose husband is a chef, and he's got a truck, and everything is bacon. It's like a bacon food truck. I go, do you have people just following along behind? Like, it wafts out behind it, and people kind of floating along behind. Yes. I just baked 2 pounds the other day after hearing about the Bacon Fest. I know. It is. And good. I'm so glad that you downloaded it, Elizabeth. That is fantastic. Sue joins us. Sue Graybell joins us. Corinne is with us today. And Dennis Doris. I'm so glad that you're with us today. And Margie Singleton. Y'all, if you do not know about Margie Singleton, do a quick Google. She and I are working on her new book. She's got a book, and she was talking about a woman who has literally helped put a foundation down for women in the country music industry as a songwriter. She was part of a civil rights movement, the female movement, and just in her own sweet, wonderful way. So Margie Singleton got a book coming out not too long from now. Angie, it's good to have you here as well. And Leslie, it's good to have you every day. Hey, it's our FSS. Follow, subscribe, and share, because if you follow us wherever you are and then you share, and when you subscribe, it lets everybody else know about us and about y'all. And we have our little interactive time here because that's what we do. I love each and every one of you. And I tell you, be safe. And I want you to be kind out there because we need more kind, right? And I always tell you to remember that you're loved, because if you remember that you're loved, you treat everybody differently. Because if you think that you're not loved, you don't treat other people like they're loved. I know. It's just how it works. It's kind of like a science project, a sociology project. So I want you guys to go out today thinking that you're loved, and you'll make a difference in how the world is. I just saw Margie perform about a month ago. Love her. She is so precious, isn't she? Yeah, she was at the Nashville Palace, 85 years old and still just getting it. She is so cute. And, oh, thank you. I feel loved because y'all join me each and every day. Hey, I want to cut things off right now, and I'm going to close with our theme song from Troy Castellano. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye. See you tomorrow.
We are home. We are family. We are things